What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to a new segment on the channel called Watching Every Best Picture Winner. And I had a really fun time reviewing In the Heat of the Night. It's really cool for me, who watches a wide array of films, does a lot of different series for the channel, to be able to watch something that's solely based on the spin of a wheel. I think that that's really cool. And there are a ton of Best Picture winners that I've never seen before. And if you've clicked on the video, you already know which movie I'm going to be reviewing today. I have the graphic up right now of the wheel spinning. And this week, when the wheel spun, it landed on Birdman from 2014. And this is a movie that I've had a ton of people recommend to me over the years and asked me to watch. And I've never sat down and watched it. This was my very first time ever seeing it. I was really interested, not only because of the incredible cast that's involved in this movie, but I was also interested in it because of how the cinematography is discussed. The movie is meant to kind of look like a series of long one-take sequences, and there's clearly moments that are edited together digitally, and you can kind of tell, but I still think that it's incredibly impressive that they were trying to pull that off, and I'm really excited to talk about this movie with you today. And before I do, I have been asked to do the wheel spin for the next video in the Oscar series at the end of this video. So if you're interested in watching these with me, at the end of the review of this video, I will spin the wheel and I'll let you know which movie I'm going to be watching for the next video in the Best Picture winner series. Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, is directed by Alejandro González Iñárritu. A fading actor best known for his portrayal of a popular superhero attempts to mount a comeback by appearing in a Broadway play. As opening night approaches, his attempts to become more altruistic, rebuild his career, and reconnect with his friends and family prove more difficult than expected. So, I was really excited to watch this movie. I've heard it talked about in a variety of ways over the past several years. And what I will say, this film is nothing short of brilliant. I would call it masterfully made. I think the subject matter that is explored in this movie is incredibly fascinating, and there are a ton of different elements that are explored, and I feel like each and every one of them get enough time to breathe. I like when this movie goes into sort of the fantastical realism territory. You never really know what's going to happen next, and that's what makes it such a phenomenal experience, and I'm excited to tell you a little bit about it today. So at the beginning of the film, we are introduced to Regan, played by Michael Keaton, and we see that he has developed and written a Broadway play. He's directing it and acting in it because he wants to do something different with his career. He is known for this series of films that he made called Birdman, where he was a superhero. That's how everyone knows him, and he wants to do something different with his career that will provide him something fulfilling. And we're introduced to Jake, his manager, played by Zach Galifianakis, who is incredibly stressed about the entire situation because they've put a ton of money into it, and he doesn't know whether or not it's going to be successful. And throughout the early parts of the film, we're introduced to a multitude of characters. One being Sam, played by Emma Stone, who's Regan's daughter, and the two of them are estranged. We learn early on that Sam had to go to rehab. She's dealing with a lot in her life, and they have a very broken relationship. She's working as one of the assistants on the set, trying to help him, but we can tell she's not happy with the way that she was raised, and they get into a lot of conflict because of it. And then most of the other characters in the film are people that are working on the Broadway production. We're introduced to Mike, played by Edward Norton, who is an incredibly popular actor that has done a ton of Broadway work, who the person who is supposed to play this particular role in Regan's performance, he's terrible, he can't stand him, and so Mike comes in to fill in at the last minute. Leslie, played by Naomi Watts, is also working as one of the actresses on the set. She has implied that she's in a relationship with Mike, and she puts in the word for him to come work on the production. And the other major character is Laura, played by Andrea Riseborough, who is Regan's current love interest. She talks about that she is pregnant early on. Their relationship is sort of on the rocks. And the entirety of the film is the examination of this one character and all of the relationships of the people that he's working with on this particular production. So, like I said, this movie is nothing short of masterful. It is, of the two films I've watched so far, this is my favorite movie that I've watched in this series. It's remarkable. And I want to start by talking about the performances. Michael Keaton in this movie is nothing short of phenomenal. And I think a lot of that has to do with, I'm assuming, how personal this film feels. He was obviously known for Batman early in his career, and that's where people picked him up from. Like when they saw him or cast him in movies, it's because they knew him due to Batman. And he's obviously created this incredibly prolific career for himself over the years. He's done a lot of different projects and he's a very impressive actor. And I think what makes his performance so compelling, obviously, there's the element of him hearing the voice in his head of the character of Birdman that he played. And so there's a lot of internalized conflict there. But the way he's navigating all of these different circumstances, whether it be him directing and acting in this performance, him not feeling good enough to be able to accomplish this, his brain constantly telling him just go back to doing what's easy, and then like the relationship between his daughter and how much he had to sacrifice for his career early on, which caused him to be a negligent parent in moments. And then you have his current relationship where his ex-wife shows up through the movie, and he clearly seems to love his ex-wife, but his career put a damage on that. Now he's trying to build this new relationship, and his career is causing a lot of issues in that regard as well. And Michael Keaton just gives so much depth to this character that he's completely and totally fascinating to watch anytime he's on screen, and I was blown away by his performance. Andrea Riseborough is incredible in this. I feel like every time she's in a movie, I'm blown away by her performance, but I really like a lot of the emotional depth she gives to this. Naomi Watts, similarly, she has a lot of very intense emotional moments throughout this movie, and I think she nails it. Ed Norton's always really great. His character is a real scumbag in this movie, and he does a really great job with that. They try to add some layers into his character, and I thought that he was really fascinating. Emma Stone, phenomenal actress. She gives a great performance. Zach Galifianakis is really good while he's in the film. Just each and every actor in this provides a lot to the overall experience. The cinematography is incredible in this movie. Like I said, there are a lot of scenes that feel like they're shot in one take. And obviously, someone who went to film school, there are a lot of moments that you can see sort of the digital connecting or like where they would cut to get into a different scene, but work well enough to make it look seamless. And there are still some shots in this movie that it's really hard to believe that they pulled off just because of how brilliant that they look, whether that be the camera going through something like a small space, how it maneuvers around a character. I was just completely and totally enamored by the cinematography. It gives you a really good idea of a sense of space, and you become very familiar with this place that they're filming this production. And so navigating through it with the long one take sequences was really easy to do. And I think that this movie, it's masterfully photographed, and it's really one of the reasons why the movie is so easy to watch. I also love the score. It's very drum driven. It has a sort of like specific cadence to it. Like as you're watching, I feel like the fast paced nature of the music and the chaotic nature of the music really complements the mood and tone of the film very well. And that was something else I really liked about this, was the score to the movie is really incredible. And there's a moment that I just was taken aback by where Michael Keaton's navigating his way through the space, and the drummer playing the score is in the scene at one point. And there's just a lot of little nice touches like that throughout the movie. And like I said, I think the best part of this film and what makes it work so well is the examination of the subject matter. Because like for starters, like I said, you have this aging celebrity who's trying to do something different with their life that's connected with this property that made them famous, and the internal conflict of saying like, hey, you should go back to doing that because that's what's easy, but it's not what's fulfilling. But oftentimes what's fulfilling is not simple. And I think that it's navigated in a way in this movie it's easy to understand. Like you see just when things feel like they're getting on the right track, something gets in the way. And success is never easy. And even like the success that Riggin, our lead character, has through the Birdman films, you can tell there was a lot of sacrifices made, not just to him personally, but to the people around him. The time that he had to sacrifice with his daughter, the issues that it put on the relationship with his wife, driving him to literally hate his life and his existence and bringing him to this form of depression. And I think so much of what exists in this film is so true to so many people when it comes to just like pursuing something that you love, because success in pursuit of something that you love is never easy. I love making content for YouTube. I release a video a day. It's not easy. I sacrifice a lot of time. I have to be very regimented with my schedule in order to consume enough content to create, to put out there in the world for everyone. And it's exhausting sometimes, and it's really difficult sometimes. And I think that when you love something and you want to be successful at it, you have to make sacrifices, and you have to do things that can be incredibly difficult in order to make that work. And there's so many moments throughout this movie that I think give you the ability to resonate with those ideas in a very palpable way. And then outside of that, just creating something like a Broadway production and making it successful, I think if you want to look at the movie in that just simplistic of terms, it works really well too. The movie is like truly hilarious. There are some really great pitch perfect dark comedic moments. It's also incredibly sad in other moments and very thoughtful. And I just think when it comes to like a best picture at the Academy Awards, this is the type of movie I want to see win. It has a very distinct and unique vision. It's very outside of the norm of what you're used to when it comes to the Academy Awards, and it's filled with brilliant performances and incredible cinematography. And I absolutely loved this movie. I cannot recommend it enough, and if you haven't seen it, please watch it. So have you seen Birdman? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was brilliant. I loved it, and it's going to be really interesting to see what the first movie I watch in this series that will top this, because I just think that it's remarkable. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And before we go today, I'm going to spin the wheel to let you guys know what we're going to be watching next segment of Watching Every Best Picture Winner. So we have the wheel up on screen right now, and you guys are going to figure out with me what the next movie that we're going to be watching for the series is. And it's spinning and spinning, and I hope that it doesn't land on something that I've already watched previously. Casablanca from 1943. You guys are going to be completely and totally shocked by this. I've never seen Casablanca. I've never watched it before. I saw a ton of clips of it when I was in film school. So this is going to be a first watch for me, and I'm really looking forward to reviewing it for you guys. And as always, everyone, thanks so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.